So my uncle shared an image of parchment paper with the text, "Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom," by Viktor E. Frankl, a renowned psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor. It's a powerful statement, one that seems to carry the weight of his experience and wisdom. But did Frankl truly say this? Or is this another example of a quote that has been misattributed, woven into the fabric of our collective memory, but was yet never actually said by its supposed author? And why do I care? Because it's exactly what between the spark and the end means. If you search between stimulus and response, there is a space. Every result points to Dr. Frankl. This includes Goodreads and Brainy Quote. Even the beloved Brene Brown says that scholars think it's Frankl. However, I couldn't find the original source of the quote. Did Dr. Frankl say it during a lecture? Or publish it in a book? Did he say it at all? I added origin to my search, and it brought me to Dr. Stephen Covey. Dr. Covey used similar language to that in the quote when describing Dr. Frankl. However, the literal quote wasn't in that book either. So my search continued. Next, I found Prisoners of Our Thoughts by Dr. Alex Pattakos. Dr. Covey wrote the foreword in which he describes browsing a university library in Hawaii. He randomly picked out a book from the shelves, flipped to a random page, and didn't expect to be deeply affected by a couple of lines. It was, guess what it was? It was the literal quote that everyone attributes to Dr. Frankl. Dr. Covey didn't write down the author, so when he returned sometime later to rediscover the book and its author, he couldn't because the library was completely gone. So, there you have it, folks. Dr. Frankl never said this quote, and neither did Dr. Covey. And yet Dr. Covey stumbled across this quote, this random quote in a random book in a building that completely vanished from existence, and believes that it embodies the work and teachings of Dr. Frankl. And though the quote exists in a book somewhere, I have no idea how to find it. In fact, searching for the quote in Google Books spits out like 30 pages of results, and most of them are inspirational authors who misattribute the quote to Dr. Frankl. Oops. So when you look at my uncle's Facebook feed, right below a cartoon mocking Trump as this caricature of greed and incompetence is this inspirational quote that is promoting integrity and accountability and a sense of self-responsibility. Yet, Dr. Pattakos uses this same quote to combat Trump derangement syndrome. He says the disregard of critical space between stimulus and response leads people to reactive, emotionally charged judgments rather than thoughtful, mindful responses. This is not to say that the author would be comfortable with Dr. Pattakos using his words to combat prejudice against President Trump. We also can't say that Dr. Covey, who found this quote in a book he never was able to find again, would be comfortable with Dr. Pattakos using the words, because unfortunately he died in 2012. But we can say that Dr. Pattakos, who used the foreword by Dr. Covey, who used the quote by this unknown author, says it's a remedy for those who hate Trump so intensely that it impairs their judgment. I don't think my uncle intended to tell bigots to pause and consider a new perspective instead of automatically damning everything Trump does. But my uncle unintentionally aligned himself with Dr. Pattakos, who does tell bigots to pause and consider a new perspective. It's just so ironic. Remember, Dr. Pattakos is not condemning people who disagree with or even despise President Trump. He is targeting a mindset that automatically vilifies an idea or action only because a certain entity proposed it. And though I believe that art should transcend itself and it should gain new meaning from one viewer to the next, I think you need to know the rules before you can break them. In other words, you have to know what you are changing. Like, I get it. There's not enough time in the day to research every single thing, and it takes a lot of time and effort to reconsider something you already deem bad. But I would say that in a world full of misinformation, you have to pause and reconsider what you think you know, especially if you assume it's a fact. Hey, be your own fact checker. One of the best pieces of advice came from working with a bunch of engineers who said, trust but verify. And it's so true, because you can't really get the facts wrong when it comes to nuclear power. It's just like the game of telephone. The truth might remain intact in the end, but the facts get muddled. If you get enough facts wrong, the truth becomes wrong too. So to truly practice the power of a pause, I encourage everybody to look at the thing as close to the source as possible and just take the time to really think about it. The weight of his experience and wisdom. We live by the loudest trucks in existence. This includes brain reads. This includes. However, there's a fucking car again. Oh my god.